Welcome, everybody, to the Locker Room Rant. As always, I'm here with my boys, John V, Nico. My name's Tony. If you like our show, please hit that subscribe button down below. Show your boys some love. Guys, breaking news just happened 3-4 minutes ago. Corey Kluber for the New York Yankees, formerly of the Cleveland Indians, just threw a no-hitter against the Texas Rangers. And we are barely 2 months into the season, and we've already had 6 no-hitters. I want to touch on this real quick. I think no-hitters are boring as hell. And if I was a fan and went to a baseball game and someone threw a no-hitter, I'd ask for at least half of my money back because I cheated. Nick, I know you're big on baseball. You're big on history of the game. So let's hear what you got.
So here's the thing. I don't find no hitters boring. Actually, I like defense. I like defensive battles in sports, and pitching is kind of part of the defense. I don't find those boring. I find excellence to be great to watch, no matter where it is.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
The problem I have is that the game is played in a way that I don't necessarily like. I don't follow baseball as much as I used to because, quite honest, I'm busy and there's just so many games in the season that it's hard to follow. I typically start picking it up around All-Star game. I usually start watching it at the start, and then after All-Star game, I'll start paying a little more attention. But that being said, when I was younger, I used to be big into the history of baseball, huge into the history of baseball. And you'd have periods of times where it'd be pitchers eras, and then you'd have ports and times where it'd be hitters eras, like the Bob Gibson era and like in the late 1960s. Those were pitchers eras. There was really low ERAs, a lot of strikeouts during those times. I have no problem with that. The problem that I have is that when I grew up playing baseball, when I grew up watching baseball, it was a different game. It was more of there wasn't as many home runs, and I don't necessarily like the home runs. At one point in time, I did talk about Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and the home run chase during, I think it was 95. That was like a big deal because it was unique. 50 home runs used to be, in my lifetime, up until Cecil Fielder hit 51 home runs. I think it was 90 or 91. It hadn't really been done in a long time. When I grew up watching baseball, it was you hit singles, you hit doubles, and you steal bases, and you manufacture runs. There were sacrifice flies, bunts. Like, you very rarely see a person bunt anymore, and I like that.
Every game there's a bunt.
I like that.
All of those things are still in baseball.
When's the last time you saw a person bunt?
I mean,
Nick,
I mean,
10 years.
Okay, that makes sense as to why you don't remember, because 10 years ago you watched your last baseball game. Frankly, there's a bunt.
I don't.
First of all, do you know the purpose of the bunt? Do you know how many out? Do you know like?
I understand the purpose.
Why you do it?
I understand the purpose of the bunt just fine.
Okay, well then you would understand that the game is still played that way.
But no, it's not. It's based on home runs. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect statistic. Back in the
I don't want a statistic, Nick. I just want you to know that they bunt every game, every fucking day. Okay, they bunt.
Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s,
or they try to bunt, but nonetheless, they bunt.
You had guys like Ricky Henderson that would steal 80, 90, 100 bases a year. Now guys don't even touch that.
Listen, Allison and I at the last Tribe game, they bunted, and it was successful, and we loved it.
You very rarely ever see a sacrifice bunt. You very rarely
see a bunt. I see an attempt of a bunt every day I watch baseball.
It's not
whether it's the Tribe or this team or that team.
Runs. You don't manufacture runs like you used to. Now you wait for somebody to either hit
They also used to take steroids and crush balls out. So, look, at the end of the day, Nick, the
When you're
bunt is
swinging
still
for the
applied to
fences-
the game.
When you're swinging for the fences, this is why you get so many strikeouts, and this is why the pitchers are dominating the game right now.
So this
Wish
is
you
why I
would've
don't
done
watch.
that as a tribe pitcher.
Yeah, this is why I don't watch baseball anymore. I don't watch baseball because I remember probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I put a baseball game on, and it was a Red Sox, I think Red Sox Yankees. I'm watching Red Sox Yankees. I turned on the game, and it was an afternoon game on a Sunday. I turned the game on. We'll say it started at 1:00. I turn the game on, and I take a nap. I wake up. You guys know my naps. They're not just a 15-minute close my eyes. It's like a 2-hour don't bother me or I'll kill you nap.
Yep.
I take a nap. I wake up from my nap. I go to the mall. I come home from the mall. I start cooking dinner. I look up at my TV and the game's still on, and it's like the bottom of the fifth. It's like, what the hell? This game's been on TV for 4 hours now. It's the bottom. I can't take it. There's not enough action. And I think kids are starting to get away from it too. You guys know kids these days, and they need that constant action in baseball. I mean, basketball and football have that constant up and down, constant. You have to, keep your head on a swivel. Baseball has none of that. You're in the outfield and you're watching butterflies and
well, I think there's activities, I mean, if you're at the game, the kids at the game are having a blast. They're trying to get on the Jumbotron. They're trying to dance and do whatever they want to do. But for kids at home, I agree. It sucks.
Baseball is still the best sport to watch in person.
To go to a live game?
Because
absolutely.
Of yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I put hockey up there too. I don't know if you guys been to a hockey game, but hockey is super fun to watch live.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's definitely super terrible on television. The same thing I think about baseball.
Yeah,
I can't see the goddamn puck. I can't see the puck. I can't find it.
You have to literally walk the replay.
I mean, I'm like, oh my god, this is happening, and then all of a sudden the puck is way up there. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. What the hell?
I remember like 15 years ago, they tried this like puck tracer. Like every time the puck would go somewhere, like a little blue line would follow the puck, and it made it easier to watch.
Yeah, we need to bring that back.
I stopped watching baseball because it was boring. Now, I think we need to change topics before our viewers stop watching us because baseball's so fucking boring.
Agreed. Let's go. Move along.
Let's move on to the NBA playoffs. So tonight we have 2 more play-in games. We got the Lakers and Golden State Warriors playing now. Earlier game was the Spurs and the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies took out the Spurs. So they're going to be playing the winner of the the loser of the Warriors-Lakers game. So yesterday we had 2 play-in games, which was the Lakers versus the Wizards. Celtics versus the Wizards. Celtics took out the Wizards. So they're moving on, and then the Wizards are going to have to play in the elimination game against the Indiana Pacers, who took out the Charlotte Hornets.
Convincingly.
Oh, beat the shit out of them.
Beat them.
Who do you guys like in that Pacers-Wizards game? They've played a few times already this year. I think the Wizards kind of had their number so far. I know Westbrook has been dominating them like he has with everyone else. But who do you like in the Wizards-Pacers game tomorrow?
I don't know. Honestly, it's toss-up. I think the Wizards suck so bad but their team's healthier. Like, if the Pacers had Miles Turner, I would go the Pacers. But I'll probably still say the Pacers.
Going with Sabonis, huh?
Well, what's Sabonis and Mitchell?
Who the fuck's Mitchell?
Oh, I'm thinking of the Jazz. Never mind. No, I'm going with the Wizards.
Jesus Christ. Well, baseball, 10 years ago, baseball. It's been maybe 8 to 10 years for basketball.
I think you just took a shot in the dark, thinking they probably got a fucking Mitchell on the team.
It isn't shot in the dark, but no, I'll go with the Wizards.
Nick's going Wizards. How about you, John?
Look. I'm going Pacers, man. I'm going Pacers. I believe that they've got they can beat the Wizards, man. Yeah, I got Pacers.
All right, so there's a few matchups that are already set in stone. I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference. I'm going to go through the matchup and just kind of let me know what you guys think. Who do you have coming out of that series? The first one that's set in stone is the Brooklyn Nets versus the Boston Celtics. Obviously, Brooklyn's a 2, Boston's going to be a 7 seed. Who do you guys like?
Nets are gonna
we'll start with you, Nick.
Nets are going to dust them.
Dust them.
Celtics are too beat up. They don't have Brown. Tatum can't do it all. I mean, everyone says Tatum's the top 3 player in the league, so we'll see. But
have you seen how many points he's been putting up lately?
Yeah,
he dropped 50 yesterday, Nick.
Yeah. Listen,
guys, who's ever heard of the Bucks?
Player. I don't think he's a top 3 player in the league. But yeah, I mean, I don't see them beating the Nets at all.
So you have the Nets dusting the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
John?
I don't think it's going to be a dusting. I think it'll be a good look. I think moving forward, I think all of these series, are going to be close. So there's no. I think the Hornets were probably the last dusting you were going to see. But I do take the Nets over Boston.
And I will round that up with a third. I think the Nets will. I think they'll take that series pretty handedly. Probably I'm going to say 4-1 series. The next matchup in the Eastern Conference is the number 3 Milwaukee Bucks versus the number 6 Miami Heat. John, who do you like in that one?
I think that Giannis and the Bucks. I think they're going to be better than the last series versus the Heat. I think. I really think that they've got a taste in their mouth, man, for Miami, and I believe that this time around they're gonna win the series. 6. Do you guys remember how many games the last series versus the Heat went?
I can't remember.
No.
Okay, well, I think I got Giannis and the Bucks winning this one this time around for sure.
Nick?
I go Bucks. I think the Bucks have an under year. I think it was a shock when the Heat beat the Bucks, anyways. I think the Bucks are going to rewrite that ship, and their team's just too good.
I think Milwaukee had a lot of huge off-season moves that are leading up to this point. Signing Drew Holiday was, I think, absolutely huge. Take some pressure off Giannis.
He's probably one of the most underrated players in the league. I mean, he's really good.
He's really good.
I mean, you know what the difference is this time around, though, you guys, is I believe that Bam Adebayo is not the same player as he was last season. I don't know if it was the bubble or what it was, but this time around, Bam is not that dominant player that he was the last time that they met. So I think with the addition, go on, Nick.
I said I think Bam's good. I think he's just as good as he was last.
No,
year.
I mean he's good. I just don't think that he's as good as he was last season.
Yeah, I think they had the blueprint to beat to beat that last year's Bucks team. They had the blueprint of stopping Giannis, and they did a good job of it. And I think this year the Bucks did a better job of surrounding him with more talent. And I think they'll have enough to get by Miami. But I do think that's probably my favorite series of the first round is going to be that Miami Milwaukee series. But I have the Bucks coming out of there as well. Another intriguing matchup in the first round in the Eastern Conference is going to be the New York Knicks. I don't know how many times in the past few years you were able to say that in the playoffs, but the New York Knicks are going to be taking on the Atlanta Hawks. John, let's start with you. What do you think about that series?
I think the Knicks are going to be pretty amazing this year. I don't know that they have the who are they playing right now?
It's the Knicks and the Hawks.
I'm going to take the Knicks right now, man. They're awesome right now. What are they? They have home field advantage, yeah.
The Knicks
home court advantage.
Yeah, they're the 4 seed, so they'll have home court.
Yeah, I'm taking the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
How about you, Nick?
At the Hawks. I'm not a believer in the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks team is that good. And Thibodeau has a propensity of basically running his players into the ground, which in the regular season,
you love saying that, dude. You will always criticize Thibodeau for going out and grabbing guys that he has coached and brought them together. Nick, it's chemistry. Coaches see chemistry. All right, well then, you know what? Why are the Knicks good?
Because
why are they good?
Thibodeau's the kind of coach.
Thibodeau's a great coach. And the Bulls have been garbage since. So shut up because you're pissing me off now. The Bulls have been trash since Thibodeau was shown the fucking door, right? So, okay.
What success did the Chicago Bulls have? The success that they had.
They were in the playoffs every season under Thibodeau, bro. All right, Nick. You know what? You haven't watched baseball. You haven't watched basketball. What the hell have you been doing? Watching badminton, bro?
Listen, for fantasy purposes, you love Thibodeau because Thibodeau's going to play your guys 40 minutes a game and he'll wear them out.
I like Thibodeau because he believes in chemistry and he can get guys to buy in and they come and they play with him and that's it, bro. Yeah. He goes out and he gets them, and the Knicks are relevant because of him.
Plays Julius Randle 80 minutes a game.
Who's complaining? The Knicks are winning.
Yeah, we'll see how much they win. They'll be first, second round playoff contenders for the next 4 years till they fire Thibodeau.
All right. Well, they haven't been relevant for how many years, Tony? Damn near 20?
Yeah. Thibodeau's
been a while. It's been a while.
If playoffs is what you're looking for, Thibodeau's your man. But
John, I will say you seem extra fired up tonight, and I love it. And
because Nick he discredits Thibodeau. He said this the other night over here at my house, and it drives me nuts because he criticizes Thibodeau for running his players into the ground, but the guy is winning. And he brought a franchise out of the dirt. I mean, they were hot fucking garbage, and now they're relevant. So
they were hot garbage.
No, they were pretty bad, Nick.
I don't know if they were hot garbage.
Okay,
they were pretty bad.
I think they had some promising talent on the team.
Who?
Well, Mitchell Robinson's awesome.
Nick, every time you fucking
basketball
say
is
something,
a team sport.
Every time you say something, it's all directed towards your fantasy basketball team.
Because I know talent when I see it.
Every time you say something and you mention a player, they're on your fantasy basketball team.
Because I know talent when I see it.
Jrue Holiday, one of the best players in the league. Jrue Holiday.
I never said he was one of the best players in the league. I just said he was one of the most underrated players in the league.
The Knicks have the same team they had last year.
Okay.
The Knicks are just they're
a 4 seed.
Literally, yes.
Yeah, the whole conference is a bunch of crap.
Jesus.
I mean,
All
the
right.
Hawks roster, it might have more skilled players, but at the end of the day, I'm taking the Knicks, man. They're rolling.
The Knicks defense is really keyed on stopping two positions. And if you look at their stats, they're really, really good at stopping the center position, and they're really good at stopping the point guard. Now, if you look at Atlanta, their best positions, their best players, Trae Young at point guard, Clint Capella at center. Now, if you make those two average, I think the Knicks are gonna take this series, and I think they're gonna take it easily. I'm gonna predict a 4-1 series in favor of the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, look, Derrick Rose has risen from the ashes, bro. I mean, that's a dude who was, just decimated by injuries. His career has taken, since he was league MVP, he has been just destroyed in every aspect. And the dude under Thibodeau has, found that fire, man. And the Knicks are rolling, man. So I picked the Knicks, Tony, at the end of the day.
He loves Tibbs. He loves playing for Tibbs.
Good coach.
Yeah, RJ Barrett has really stepped up in his second year. He's been playing out of his mind. Can't say enough about Julius Randle. The guy's playing at an all-star level. He's taken that team on his shoulders and really has carried them throughout this entire year. Unbelievable. So, Nick, good luck to your Hawks. The only other matchups, because we're still waiting to see who wins.
What's the score right now, Tony?
Golden State 43, Lakers 33. So Golden State's up 10.
Good.
Can you guys imagine if Klay Thompson was healthy? Insane, right? I mean, holy smokes, bro. Steph is doing this on his own. He's carrying them literally.
I think people forget how awesome Klay Thompson is too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really been about 2 years since he's played. And when guys go that long without playing, you tend to forget what they were like. But when he comes back, instant championship contenders.
If he can stay healthy, Tony.
That's assuming he comes back the same player.
He will. He'll be fine. But these injuries are piling up. He's like a young Kevin Love. I think Kevin Love's injured again right now as we speak.
Yeah, but he's had 2 major leg injuries.
Yeah, Kevin Love had a nosebleed.
Yeah.
The other matchups in the Western Conference that are set in stone right now is the Denver Nuggets versus the Portland Trailblazers.
I love this. I can't wait.
We know that Nick's favorite team is the Portland Trailblazers. So let's hear it, Nick.
I'm gonna go with the Blazers. It's gonna be close. But the Blazers have a history of beating the Nuggets.
If Dame shows up, what is it? Dame time? If he shows up, if he does not, then this guy playing in an overrated market, the small market team, your boy needs to leave Portland and go to the Knicks and just dominate, and that's a championship.
He can do whatever he wants. He's chosen not to do that.
I think this can be an awesome matchup, actually.
It is. It is.
It was a really good matchup last year. I mean, not last year, the year before last year.
If Jamal Murray was healthy, I'd say without a doubt, Denver Nuggets. Without Murray, they really only have Porter Jr., Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really all they have, but that might be all they need to get them to the conference championship. I mean, Jokic is that freaking good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Now, to counteract Jokic, you also have Nurkic for the Portland Trailblazers, who is kind of a poor man's Jokic. I know there's a lot of chitches going on right now in this conversation, but I think I think it's going to be an awesome series. I look for Carmelo to step up in the playoffs. I know he's coming off the bench, doesn't play that many minutes, but when he does, he's got to make them meaningful. Mm-hmm. And I think Carmelo going up against the Nuggets, the team that drafted him, I think he'll have a little something extra in the tank for this first round matchup. I'm going to go with the upset, the 6 over the 3, and I'm going to pick the Trailblazers to upset the Denver Nuggets. Again, this really just is based on Jamal Murray not being there. Dame time coming out and playing in the playoffs, showing out, doing that stupid shit where he points to his wrist. I think Portland's going to upset Denver, and I'm going to take the Trailblazers. John, who do you like?
It's tough, man. It's tough. I like Portland to win this. I do. But Tony, all of these games could all be skewed just by injury. I mean, I'll take Portland right now, but Damian Lillard always manages to break a thumb or sprain a wrist or
what are you talking about? The guy's one of the most
have a yeast infection. Something is going on with this dude. He falls over, breaks a rib. I'm tired of this shit. Every time it counts, this dude's always injured.
The guy's one of the most durable players in the league.
Oh yeah, real durable. Yeah, broke ribs.
He is very durable.
Okay, all right. Well, where's his championship?
How many games has he missed over the past 5 years?
I don't care. So he's there. What has he done?
You made the statement. You stand by it.
I Nick, I made the statement that Damian Lillard manages to get injured when it counts. That's what I stand by.
Where is your evidence? Okay. When has he ever claimed that he was injured? He's never said that he was injured.
Didn't somebody fall on him?
Injured. He never made an excuse why he didn't play well or why his team didn't win or anything like that.
Okay, he may not make excuses, but we know he's injured. Somebody fell on him, not last year, but the year before, and he fractured some ribs. If I'm mistaken, he may or may not have made some crucial foul shots during that injury. I don't remember. It's not that big of a deal to me. I just know that he's been injured in big time moments. So I stand by that. Tony, give me a hand here, bro. Throw me a flotation device, bro.
Here's your flotation device.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Stick that in your ass, and while you're doing it, watch some baseball so you can see a fucking bunt like this.
Listen, I gotta tell you, I'm not all with it tonight because before you signed on, me and Nick were here. We're kind of waiting backstage on the broadcast, and Nick said, "I'll be right back." So he gets up and he walks away, and then he comes back, he sits down, and he starts eating one of those ice cream drumsticks. And I had to sit here and fucking watch this guy eat one of those ice cream drumsticks. And as we're talking, I keep getting more and more pissed that of what I was seeing bite by bite on that drumstick, and I keep getting fucking pissed about it. I can't get the images out of my head, and it's pissing me off.
Was I supposed to wait for John to come on so I can then eat my drumstick an hour later?
No, I mean, the show's only like an hour. Can't you fucking wait till after we're done to eat your drumstick?
Bro. That drumstick has already been in the freezer for at least 2.5 years. What's another hour, bro?
I wanted that drumstick and I wanted it now.
How long was that drumstick in your freezer?
Like a month.
Year and a month. Anyway, bro. So I was checking it out, Nick. Let me tell you something. All right. Look, Lillard has battled a left ankle injury, ribs, lower abdomen strain, knees, and he consistently injures himself on screens. He clashes on the screen and he gets hurt. So a month ago, look, at the end of the day, your boy Lillard is always hurting something.
Players play hurt. They don't play injured. Damian Lillard has never taken games off because of an injury.
He may not have taken games, but he also has not won the chip. So at the end of the day, you play to win.
LeBron takes days off for rest like a little bitch.
Okay, he's not my boy, but just because I acknowledge the fact that he is available. The best ability is availability, right? So your boy's out there, but he's not contributing at 100 because he's constantly injured. Damian Lillard needs to move on from Portland if he wants to win a championship. That's it.
Fine.
Okay.
Yes, I said it once, I'll say it again. He's free to do that. He's free to move. He has chosen not to.
We got to move on to the next matchup. The last matchup that's set in stone. LA Clippers versus the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas is a 5 seed, Clippers are a 4 seed, so obviously the Clippers have home court advantage. John, let's start with you. Man, everyone's fired up tonight, and I think it's Nick, you're pissing everybody off. Starting with that damn drumstick. But John, who do you like in the Clippers Mavericks series?
I like the Clippers. I think that I'm with some of the media. I agree that they've been losing purposely to avoid the Lakers. But I do take the Clippers to beat the Mavericks. I agree 100% that they will probably win that.
Nico,
I gotta be honest. Out of all the matchups, this is the one I honestly could not give a shit about any less. That being said, I'll go with the Clippers.
You have any reasons you want to hit us with, or just Clippers?
I just think those teams are the most boring teams I could really care less about.
What the
man? What is boring about Luka?
I mean, Luka is one of my favorite players in the league, Tony. I'm not going to lie, bro. I love Luka, man. I think he plays. I mean, he plays, bro. And this guy, he could care less. He could care less about 2 teams that are actually relevant. Just like the bunt. I can't believe this guy discredits the bunt. Who's ever seen a bunt? He hasn't seen a bunt since 90.
You probably think a bunt's a cake.
A bunt is also a cake.
Both
would be correct.
John probably went to the baseball game, got a cake. He's like, "Oh, that's a bunt."
I'll tell you what, Nick. For our viewers that watch this segment, when they see you go on and on and on about how this bunt is like foreign and forgotten, they're gonna chuckle inside because they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is Nick talking about? This guy is out of his mind."
Often, John, that's all I said. Used to be used a lot more often. It used to be used. You probably have like 1 or 2 bunts a game. Now you have like 10 a season.
You still have 1 a game, bro. And I encourage you to watch some baseball because you sound ridiculous.
I'll watch a game with you. I'll watch a game with you, and I'll bet if there's a fucking bunt, then you
how much? How much?
Then you owe me $20. We'll watch a random game, and if they have a bunt, then you owe me $20.
Is it going to be American League or National League game?
National League.
Tony, listen.
Then you're fucked.
I take this bet. This bet. Glad.
John, it's going to be a National League game.
No, American League.
No, you already said national.
Fuck that. You said a random game.
That's the only time
you said a random game. No, fuck that.
When they know it's going to happen because pitchers can't hit. So it's going to be an American
random
game with the DH.
You said random. We're watching a random game.
No, we're going to watch a random game. It's going to be a random American League game.
No, it's going to be a random game. Stop throwing American at dude. It's a random game.
The bunt doesn't mean anything when the pitcher does it. That just means they're trying to just put the ball in play.
It's still a bunt.
I'm talking
bunt
about
is a bunt.
situational creation of runs.
Okay.
I'm talking you sacrificing out to get a run. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
We're going to
I've seen
move
some
on
crucial
from
tribe games where the bunt mattered. And I can't wait to pick a random game.
3 times. How long have you been watching tribe games?
Dude, you know what? You should probably step away from the CD-ROM because I'm going to come through it and I'm going to slap you across your face so hard that it's going to be embarrassing for you. So just, Tony, I take the Clippers, bro. Moving on.
Clippers. Nick, who did you end up taking?
Epic Clippers.
I also will go Clippers. I think the Mavericks are still a year or two away. Some surrounding players that they still need to get the hang of. I mean, this is a feisty ass show tonight, and I think it's good that our next topic is going to be some boxing. We're going to get into some boxing tonight, or we should say there's some real boxing and some fake boxing along with this. June 6th, it's going to be Floyd Money Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Do you guys give a shit about this at all? Is it something that you'll order and watch? Is it something that you'll just wait till the next day to see who won, to wait and see what round Floyd Mayweather won in? Let's hear about your thoughts on that. We'll start with you, Nick.
I won't be ordering it. I won't be watching it. I will be boycotting it. I hate it. The only thing I will say is I really hope Mayweather kicks the shit out of him. Just so we can put it to bed.
You don't get to pick a favorite. You already discredited the fight. So You know what? Tony, it's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn.
That's all I have to say. All I have to say about that.
That's all you get. You don't get to pick a favorite, dude. You get to sit there and you get to listen to my take. So here, Tony, listen.
Let's go.
So it's an exhibition match, right? Because Mayweather says he's only fighting exhibitions, and rightfully so. This is a clown that was a YouTuber successfully. I will not take that away from him. However, this bullshit about calling out fighters, so they don't. So if I'm not mistaken, Logan Paul doesn't have promoters. So they do this shit all on their own. So there's nobody in their corner like, no, you're not calling out Floyd Mayweather. We're not going to embarrass ourselves. We're just not going to do that. This dude gets crazy and he wants to call out Floyd, and Floyd comes out, and this dude's never going to turn down an opportunity to make money because he loves money. And I will buy this fight. I will buy it and I will enjoy it because there are some good matchups. I will let you guys know. I can't remember who's fighting on this card, but there are some undercards that I am looking forward to.
Chad Ochocinco is actually fighting on the undercard.
I did not know that, but I will watch that also. But listen, back to the Floyd fight. Floyd doesn't lose this fight, Tony. I don't care that Logan Paul is 40 pounds heavier. I don't give a shit. Floyd is the best defensive boxer to ever put those gloves on, and I hope that he knocks this dude's teeth right out of his mouth. I can't wait to see it. I'm actually looking forward to it because there's nothing that pisses me off more than when these clown YouTubers so YouTube's not enough for them, and now they want to get into the ring and they want to be this, that, and the other. You know what, dude? You called out the wrong dude. He's going to clown you. He's going to embarrass you, and I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm buying this twice.
The only thing I don't like about this fight, there's a lot that I don't like about this. I shouldn't say the only thing, but it's going to be June 6th, which is a Sunday. And it's not like a holiday weekend. And I'm thinking, why the hell are they having this thing on a Sunday? Normally on Saturdays, I know from McGregor, Mayweather, we had some friends over, watched the fight, ordered the fight, and made a night out of it. and we'd probably do the same thing for this fight, just because, not that I really care about the fight, just to have a gathering, a social gathering. It gives us a reason to have people over. But as far as this fight, I mean, I was actually tricked into buying that McGregor Mayweather fight last time, and I was tricked because I actually, with the promoting that went on behind that, I actually thought they tricked me into thinking McGregor had a chance in that fight. And I was so pissed off that I was tricked, and they brainwashed me into thinking that he actually had a chance. And then I started thinking, like, McGregor was learning how to be a boxer while his opponent was preparing. Mayweather was preparing to beat the shit out of McGregor. McGregor was learning how to box. And it's the same goes with this. I mean, that guy, Logan Paul, doesn't even know how to box, and he's just going to step in there with the greatest of all time. I mean, maybe not the greatest of all time, but a guy that's up there as the greatest of all time, and has never lost to actual boxers, and he's going to get in the ring and try to fight. Like, there's this doesn't even like amuse me whatsoever. I'll tell you what did amuse me, though. The fight of a lifetime was Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. That fight was scheduled to take place in August, and it's the mecca. That fight was supposed to be the greatest fight of all time, getting those two together. And there was a judge that ruled today that Fury, because of how the contract was set up with Deontay Wilder, Fury is going to have to be forced to fight Wilder again before he fights Joshua. The judge said that by September 15th, he's going to have to fight Deontay Wilder, which is complete bullshit. He already kind of beat him twice. But the fact that I'm not going to be able to see Fury versus Joshua because there has to be, from the contract that was set up, another fight with Deontay Wilder really pisses me off. I was super excited. I know the boxing world was super excited to see Fury Joshua now, and now we have to postpone that so Fury can take on Wilder. Nick, I know you follow boxing closely, and what do you think about postponing that fight for another Wilder Fury?
I would have been like a lot more excited to see the Joshua Fury fight if Joshua didn't lose to Ruiz. It kind of takes a little bit of the shine off it, but I don't hate. I'm not going to hate watching Fury Wilder again. I think you need a trilogy to end that. Just to say that Fury's the better fighter, for sure, for certain, he's the better fighter.
So there used to be a professional boxer from our hometown, Youngstown, Ohio, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik. He was a world champion. I know our entire area was behind that guy. I know everyone was rooting for him from our area, and it was really, really awesome time in boxing to watch someone that's from your area to make it to that level of boxing and to contend for a championship. But there's one person that's on the Locker Room Rant that almost fought the world champ. And Nick, do you kind of want to share that story with us real quick? Kind of the cliff notes.
Well, since you bring it up. Okay, the Cliff Notes version it wasn't me personally fighting Kelly Pavlik. It was a friend of mine and a friend of his who, they're both from the area as well. They had bad blood towards each other. And one day, my friend got in a fight with his friend and kind of won. Then we went to a party or something. This was back when we were like 19, 20 years old.
So in like Pavlik's prime, but continue.
No, it was actually before Pavlik got the title. He was like an up and coming boxer. So like He wasn't champion at the time. I would like to assume that he wasn't going to like
real quick. Can I was I a part of this disaster at one point or another?
Yes.
I took a pool stick across the neck.
I'll get to your part in a little bit.
I took a pool okay. All right.
So basically it was like a big group of us. We probably had like 20, 30 guys, and they had as many guys as they did. We ended up going to a party and ended up getting broken up by the cops. We ended up going to one of like the local schools, like the parking lots.
Like meet me at the school thing, huh? Like meet me at the school.
This is terrible.
Half of our guys stayed at the party. Half of our guys left with the school. Now we have like 15 people.
There was 6 of us versus 100.
All of a sudden, we were like the battle of 300. There were just cars coming down the street. We were like, "Oh shit!"
It was described to me. It was like the scene from Braveheart, where there's only like a few of them, and then like the entire army comes over the hill.
Yeah,
that's how it was explained to me. I've heard the story a few times from a few different people, and the story all sounds the same from those people. That you guys had like 6 guys, like gathered up 6 randoms, and they came over the hills like Braveheart, like swinging bike chains and golf clubs.
Yep. A dear friend of mine, God rest his soul, took a golf club to the cheek, and it pissed me off beyond recognition. I will never forget that moment. Another friend took a golf club. Actually, it may have been a driver, to the ribs and to the side of the head. Maybe he was bleeding, and it drove me to the point where I went after one dude who was holding a pool stick, and he swung it and he swung it and he swung it. And I said to him, "If you hit me with that, I promise you, I will take it from you and I will beat you to death with it." He swung it once, he swung it twice, and then the third time he hit me right across the neck. At that moment, he swung it for the 4th time. I grabbed it and I broke it across his face. I beat him with it to the point where 3 dudes came. They attacked me. They kicked me. They punched me. They were beating me into the ground. But at that time, I still had this mother lover to the ground, twisted. I was choking him with his own hoodie. I had it wrapped around my wrist, and I was choking him to death with it. But at that moment, I can remember a great buddy of mine, Adam Agate, and this Planters looking dude right here, this bald, brave mother effer, Nick, pulled a number of guys off of me. And I can remember at one point looking up and seeing Nick grab 2 people, Tony, 2 people, and he clapped their heads together. It was incredible. It was probably one of the greatest moments of my life. And we got this shit kicked out of us, to say the least. 8 of us got beat to death by.
Actually, I didn't get touched.
Nick, talk about what happened when you came face to face with Kelly the Ghost Pavlik.
The lead up is a lot more than the actual what happened, but so like I said, these cars just start coming and coming and coming. There was probably about 20 cars. There was probably about 40, 50 guys. It was like a scene from a movie. They got out, they lined up in formation, and they split down the middle.
They did, dude. It was
a plan. They split down the middle. And then comes the friend that my friend got in a fight with, and Kelly Pavlik. Now, I knew of Kelly Pavlik, but he wasn't like world champ at the time. He was just like an up-and-coming boxer. So I felt it was upon my duty. I always felt like the guy who was the fighter out of the group. I mean, I didn't get in a lot of fights, but I could fight. So I felt it was incumbent on me to go meet these guys in the middle, like two warring sides.
So the C's part, and here comes Kelly the Ghost Pavlik down one side. And do you ever square up with him?
Yes, we were face to face.
And then what happens? Something happened, and you guys just end up not fighting, right?
It was just like I was like, who the F do you think? I was like, who the F do you think you are?
Did he say Kelly the fucking Ghost Pavlik, world champ?
I mean, we're not monetized.
Yeah,
So you can say the word, Nick.
He goes, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik. And I was like, I'll effing make you a ghost. And then we kind of just split up. We just split up, and I thought it was over at the time. So I was like, I had like one leg in the car. And then all of a sudden I see John rolling around with somebody, and nobody touches my John.
Not a one.
My John. So then we went to rumble for about what it felt like a while, but it was probably like 30 seconds or like 45 seconds or something like that.
Just out of curiosity, if you were to have come to blows with Kelly the Ghost Pavlik that night, what do you think would have happened?
Listen, there's boxing and there's fighting. Okay. I'm not saying I would win. I have never said I would win. But I will tell you this. If that was on the ground, I don't bet against myself.
I'll take that wager. In Nick's favor.
You're taking Nick over
on the ground?
Actually, world champion.
Dude, listen, Tony, at that time, he was not a world champion. He was training
better than he was as world champion. So I think as world champion, he let his guard down and didn't do what he had to do. But I think as he was climbing,
Nick, that night everybody was young, trashed. I'm not buying it. Okay, Tone, I take Nick. That night, I take Nick as victor.
Okay, so you're taking Nick over Kelly the Ghost Pavlik, future world champion of the world. He had a belt that symbolized that he was the greatest at something. Nick has a fucking Syracuse banner behind him. That's what he has.
I mean, we were 20 years old tops at the time. I'm not buying it, bro. Look, Nick's. I've seen my fair share, and that night, who's to know, bro? It didn't happen. So, listen.
I mean, listen. The guy that our friend fought, and our friend, he's a relatively tough kid, but he ain't nothing to. You're not going to write stories about him. His friend was also a boxer. And actually a pretty good boxer. Maybe not world championship, but professional. He was a professional boxer at one time. And
not that night. Not that time. Not that time. He was just training, bro. They were fighting exhibition matches, bro. They're not winning titles.
He was an amateur boxer at that time. My buddy beat the shit out of him.
Listening to you guys tell this story really makes me thank the good Lord that I joined the military and was not around for all these shenanigans. Because you guys are fucking crazy.
You conveniently drove home about an hour or two later.
That's what I do. I come in afterwards. I probably went and checked to see if anyone dropped any cash behind at the fight.
So basically, to make a long story short, a gun was fired at some point in time, and everyone scrammed. We heard the cop cars run, and everyone scrammed. So
good story. I love that. Guns. There was no guns in Braveheart. All right. So the next segment I want to get to is your guys's your favorite sports moments of all time. It could be crazy. It could be ridiculous. It could be great. I just want to know your guys' favorite sports moments of all time. I'm going to start with you, Nick. Rattle off a few of your favorite or craziest sports moments of all time.
So I got 6 in general. The first one's kind of like an obscure one. There was Nolan Ryan was a big pitcher when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
And I remember watching on the screen, and we had this ticker roll across, and it said Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura were ejected from the game. And I was like, because for fighting. And I was like, Nolan Ryan was an older guy at the time. Like,
Yeah, I think he was 60.
Years old. That doesn't seem as old now, but it seems like, and he might have been 50 actually. That doesn't seem as old now because I'm 38 and I'm getting close. But that seemed like it was kind of ancient back then. And Robin Ventura was like in his 20s. And I was like, that's messed up. Robin Ventura goes and fights an old man. They showed it like 5 minutes later, and Nolan Ryan kicked the living crap out of Robin Ventura.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was just and it was awesome. That was number 6 for me. Number 5 is probably Greece winning the Euro Cup. Because I'm not a huge follower of soccer, but I follow it a little bit. And that was just crazy to see happen. Not to mention, we were watching all those games, and it was like at like crazy times, and it was like we were waking up at like 3 a.m. to watch these games, and it was just a really cool event. And I remember that it was pretty awesome. The 4th one is and I actually had 2 from this specific event, is Usain Bolt in the Beijing Olympics, because that was just nuts how he dominated and broke all those records. Number 3 was probably Cal Ripken Jr. breaking the consecutive game streak, just because that's probably the most memorable record that I've ever seen broken.
I'm going to stop you there. I think that record will never be touched again.
Cool.
That, I think, in all of sports, that's the most unbreakable record is Cal Ripken's consecutive games record.
I don't think it's unbreakable because it can't be done. I think people can do it. I just think nobody wants to do it. Like, no, people want to like make their careers longer, and they feel like they need to take breaks and they need to take games off, and no one's going to play games like that anymore if you're that good. So
Go ahead. Sorry.
it was just the most memorable record I've ever seen broken. Maybe Barry Bonds, there's a little bit of tarnishment around that record. So the number 2 is, and I remember me and you actually watched this together, Tony, in Kirk's living room. And this is from the same Olympics, the Beijing Olympics, was that freaking swimming meet with freaking the relays. Awesome. I remember watching that. We were like, oh God, they're losing, they're going down. And all of a sudden that freaking Jason Lezak comes in. And they're like, all right, can they get wait a minute, he's gaining. And he just got it by a freaking finger.
You know, I still watch that like probably once a year. I pull that up and watch that, and I still get as excited as I was that night when I watch it now. That was awesome.
Reactions? Do you remember our reactions? We were going nuts.
I think we were hugging each other and shit. What the hell's going on here?
Because there was a lot on that. Phelps was going to break the record. He needed that to break the record.
Yeah.
And they thought they were like the French. There's no way the French can be beaten.
All right. What's number 1? You're keeping us in suspense.
My number 1, and it's probably going to be your number 1 too, is The Malice of the Palace. There's another one we watched together.
I was in the military. I didn't watch that with you.
I think we were on the phone together then.
Yeah. Words can't express how wild that moment was. Let me hear your take on it.
It's just like, I remember watching this, and I was just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It was just like, it started off kind of like, it was like, okay, that's a little much. And then it just kept getting crazier and crazier. And then it wouldn't stop. And then all of a sudden somebody spills a drink on our test. Now the crowd's fighting. And I just remember Larry Brown trying to talk. He's just like,
yeah, he tried to like calm the fans down on the microphone. No one was listening to Larry Brown.
It was awesome. It was like 25 minutes of like pure, just chaos, entertaining chaos.
That was absolutely insane. John, you got a list for us, bud?
I got 2, man. Listen, in 2008, Michael Phelps won 8 medals, man. And that to me was incredible. I like swimming. I love it. I think it was incredible. So that was one for me. And the second, obviously, is the 2016 Cavs championship, down 3-1. We come back, first team in history to beat a 73 win Warriors team and to bring a championship to Cleveland after 52 years, bro. So, I mean, those two for me. I love the Olympics. I love Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics. I love swimming. So Michael Phelps winning 8 medals in 2008, that was awesome for me. I loved it. I remember telling myself, like, no one's ever going to beat this. This dude is insane. So that to me, the 2008 Olympics were awesome. 8 medals. Hats off to you, brother. And the 2016 Cavs championship, probably the only championship in my lifetime that I'm going to see. So those two for me stand out more than anything. The Malice of the Palace, you beat the shit out of fans. Good for you. But the Cavs championship was everything to me, man. It was awesome.
Good stuff. My list, I have 5 on my list. Coming in at number 5, obviously there's a bunch. There's definitely some honorable mentions with some Michigan State games in the D'Antoni years, beating Notre Dame on a fake field goal at the end of the game, the blocked punt against Michigan to win the game. But number 5 for me, and it was something that I think only took about 2 seconds, maybe less than that, is when Randy Johnson threw a pitch and hit a bird. And if you haven't seen that, definitely worth checking out on YouTube.
YouTube click.
I mean,
The bird blew up.
The bird exploded, and I was just thinking, what are the odds of that happening? And where did the body of the bird go?
It disintegrated. It literally was like a couple feathers that fell.
It wasn't a couple feathers. It blew up. He blew up the bird. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
I'm
going to take a minute for the bird because you guys are assholes, bro.
Did you watch that, John?
I saw it, bro. That was. I mean, what the odds, Tony, are. It'll never happen again, bro.
If Randy Johnson hit you in the face with a fastball, there's a very good chance.
Yes, I would need reconstruction.
There's a good chance you would. Now picture an innocent little bird.
Poor bird, bro. God,
getting murdered by that pitch. Coming in at number 4 for me was the Iron Bowl in 2013, Alabama, Auburn, on that final play when Alabama attempted to kick that field goal and Auburn returned it for a touchdown. And I, it was a crazy play. Don't get me wrong, but the significance of those two teams, the rivalry between those two teams, and having that year end like that, that game end like that year was really awesome. And I can give 2 shits about Alabama or Auburn, but that play is just something that's really awesome.
That was awesome.
Coming in at number 3. Mike Tyson biting the ear off of Evander Holyfield. I remember Mike Tyson, man. We all loved him as a kid. Do you guys happen to remember? I don't know if you played Little League that year, but Howland Little League was the league that we were all in growing up. And I remember one year they invited Mike Tyson, who was world champ at the time, to come to our Little League opening day. And he was like there signing autographs for all of us little leaguers. And now looking back on it, I'm thinking, what the fuck were they thinking bringing Mike Tyson there to be with all of us like 8, 9, 10-year-olds? Why did they bring him there? He was a psychopath.
He was fucked up, man.
So that came in at number 3. Number 2 was my 2004 Boston Red Sox making the comeback down 3-0 to the New York Yankees in the ALCS. I think that was New York was up 3-0. It was the bottom of the ninth. They had I think a 1-run lead at the time to close out the sweep. Mariano Rivera comes in. He was lights out, the greatest closer of all time. And we're able to tie the game up. Next thing you know, we win that game, then the next one, then the next one, and then close it out, coming back from down 3-0. Having that, especially within that rivalry, the greatest, in my eyes, the greatest rivalry in sports, I think there was nothing better that I will ever witness in sports than that moment. And then obviously number 1 was the Malice at the Palace.
That was.
I think back on that, and what a disaster it was to even have those players. They had, if you were to name, I think that happened in 2000 and what was it, 2002, 2003,
2004.
So 2004.
It's crazy.
If you were
2004.
If you were to make a list in 2004. Who were the biggest dickheads in the NBA?
About 3 of them were on the Pacers.
4 of them were on. 4 of them were on the court when that happened.
6'6", 240 pounds.
Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, Rasheed Wallace, and Ben Wallace. I mean, they were the 4 biggest assholes maybe in the history of the NBA, and they were all on the same court at the same time. Something bad was going to happen.
You know what my favorite part of that was, though? It's like when Austin Crozier tried to act all bad. It's Austin Crozier. People were pouring beer on him. He was like,
that was insane. It would piss me off as I'm a Pacers fan, and they were supposed to like contend for the title that year. Ron Artest was in the talks of possibly being in the running for an MVP that year. The previous year he won Defensive Player of the Year. They were talking about him winning MVP that year, and then that shit happened and it totally flushed their entire season down the drain. And a funny story I heard from that, there's documentaries about it and stuff, but the funniest story I heard from it is when Ron Artest got walked back to the locker room, Steven Jackson gets back to the locker room and he walks up to Ron Artest to check on him. And the first thing Ron Artest says, "Do you think we'll get in any trouble for this?" Yes, you psychopath. Yes, you're going to get in trouble. You just fought the entire city of Detroit. All right, good stuff, guys. I want to talk about, we'll touch briefly on sports movies. I want to talk about sports movies. And the reason I'm talking about the best sports moments, best sports movies, I want our subscribers and our watchers to kind of get into our lives to see what we're all about. You can tell a lot about someone by their favorite movies and favorite sports moments. So, having said that, we'll start with John. What are your give us your top? It's hard to do. It's hard to do 3.
3 is hard, but I mean we could pick 3. Three's good, man.
Oh Jesus, I got like a list of 20 that could be in my top 3.
I tried to make a list of 5, and I could not make a list any less than 8.
I mean, 3. Just I'll just touch. Listen, you've seen them or you haven't. All right. So, Major League is obviously one of my favorites, if not my favorite. 1989. Moneyball, and I will go with. Now, here's a tie. It's either the USA men's hockey game back in the 80s, Miracle, or The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock, the story of Michael Orr, right? Those are my favorites. Moneyball, yes. The Russians.
I tell you, I didn't have The Blind Side or Moneyball in my top 20.
Yeah.
Those are ones that I forgot about, but definitely great movies. Go ahead, Nick.
If I was to pick one, would probably be Rudy. I freaking love Rudy. There's something about that movie I just get pumped. Rocky, you got to put Rocky in there.
Which one?
I'm not gonna say which one because you can honestly put 1 through 4.
One.
You have to pick one Rocky. You cannot throw the whole series in there. That's not fair.
If I had to pick one Rocky, it would probably be 1. But I honestly think I like 4 better, but I think 1's a better movie.
1.
4 is awesome.
I love
1. One's a better movie just in general, but
you don't get 4 without 1, bro.
That's true, John. You can't get 4 without 1.
It's literally impossible to get 4 without 1.
Nothing's happened. He hasn't met Mickey yet. He didn't meet Adrian. And Rocky's just kind of just doing nothing. 3 is Field of Dreams for me. Listen, there are very few things that will move me to tears. But Field of Dreams actually, I can't watch that movie without tearing up. There's something about it just like with father and son and baseball kind of reminds me of me and my dad a little bit.
Copy.
Watch that movie. I would probably say 4 Major League because that's just awesome. I love Major League. I would probably say 5 The Water Boy.
Ooh, I forgot about The Water Boy.
I forgot about both Water Boy and I forgot about Happy Gilmore.
John must not have liked The Water Boy. He dropped off on us.
Not to mention Water Boy kind of reminds me of me and my mom.
Water Boy is definitely you and your mom.
I'm pretty sure my mom.
Dude, I love to come back to The Water Boy reminds me of Nick and his mother.
I'm pretty sure my mom asked me, boy, did they catch that gorilla that socked you in the eye?
No, mama, the search continues.
This is kind of an honorable mention one because it depends whether or not you classify this as a sports movie. I kind of do. Jerry Maguire.
That's a sports movie.
Yeah, I love Jerry Maguire. And Miracle.
Miracle's so good.
It's so good.
God. All right. Great movies. Not a huge fan of Jerry Maguire. But besides that, great movies. Guys, I can't. I don't want to narrow it down to 5. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Pretty much, I think the thing that makes sports movies so great is the speeches.
So Rudy's number 1 for me, just because when college football kicks off and I wake up on a Saturday morning, a little chilly outside, throw a little sweatshirt on, some sweatpants, and and right before the games come on, probably around 10 o'clock, I'll throw Rudy on and it will prepare me for the entire rest of the football season. Not just college, but NFL as well. Rudy is just a freaking awesome movie.
There's something to be said about a movie that's generally just overall optimistic too. Like there's never, I mean, he has the downside where it's like he has to overcome the adversity, but it's always presented in like an optimistic way. It just makes you feel good watching that movie.
Yeah.
Don't like Rudy. Rudy was all right. It didn't do it for me, man. You knew it was coming. You know,
It's a true
you
story.
By all means.
it was a true story. Yeah, you knew it was coming, bro.
They
Rudy,
didn't make him so he would eventually fail and not go to Notre Dame to become a drug dealer.
look, Rudy just. I like. Look, everybody likes Rudy, but yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. It is what it is. Good for you, Rudy.
So Rudy's my number one. Miracle's my number two. I like the Sandlot is my number
Oh
three.
my God. I forgot about the Sandlot. That's a thing.
Sandlot was great.
It's just a movie that really makes me feel good. It makes me feel young again, and I love those movies that make me feel young. So Rudy, Miracle, The Sandlot. I'm a big fan of Remember the Titans.
There's another one. I could do 20 of them, honestly.
I love Any Given Sunday, and the speech from Al Pacino in that movie is something that gets played on all famous speeches. It was a great speech.
Branches all around us. What makes the fucking difference between winning and losing?
Relax.
Living and dying.
Listen, let me ask you guys a question.
Your Pacino's on point, Nick.
Yo, let me ask you guys a question. Had you ever seen a movie called Alive?
No. I mean, is that the one where they, is it? No, I have. Is that the one where they eat each other? The soccer team?
Okay, relax. It was a rugby team in the 70s.
Okay.
And the plane crashed. That's a true story. The plane crashed. And yes, they did have to resort to cannibalism to survive. However, the movie was in I think it was in the early 90s. It was awesome. And I mean, the story obviously is fucking terrible, but the movie was great. And I like that. I like
that movie. It was awesome.
Can you take a second, Nick, for a minute?
Listen, we're gonna eat these people the best way we know how.
Okay, all right. You know what? Fuck, God,
Nick.
Forget it, dude. If you guys want to watch Alive, great. If you don't go watch Rudy and watch Rudy and watch everybody just all of the players just turning their jerseys. Well, let Rudy play. Let Rudy. We all fucking knew Rudy was gonna fucking play.
This one's for Rudy.
Get the fuck out of here. The whole fucking movie, the kid sucks. He's not good enough. And then at the very end, he makes a big tackle. Get the fuck out of here. Rudy's overrated, bro.
All right, some honorable mentions that I had. And these ones really were on the edge of squeaking in. Blue Chips was a movie that I absolutely loved with Shaq and Anthony Hardaway. A League of Their Own is unbelievable.
I actually had that one. On my list till I put off for Happy Gilmore.
Have you guys ever seen a movie called $1 Million Baby?
I actually didn't like that.
Ooh, that was a good one. Hilary Swank and Clint Eastwood. Highly recommend that if you haven't seen it. White Man Can't Jump. Love that movie. I get pissed off when I hear these best sports movies of all time, and people put Hoosiers up there. I can't stand Hoosiers. I think it's the dumbest movie ever.
It's not as good of a movie as I thought it was, but maybe it's just the times. Like a lot of people put Raging Bull up there, and Raging Bull is a good movie, but like I'd rather watch any of the ones that we said previously over.
What about Remember the Titans, bro?
Tony said Remember the Titans.
That's in my top 5.
Oh, you did. Okay.
There's a movie. I'm a big baseball historian. I don't watch it as closely as I used to, but I'm a big baseball historian. I really love 8 Men Out.
That's an awesome movie. A lot of popular people in that too.
Great cast.
Yeah.
Great cast. It was about the Chicago Black Sox. I was obsessed with that when I was younger, learning about that whole scandal.
Do you guys have let's go to final thoughts. We covered all our topics tonight. Want to go to final thoughts? John, you have anything for us?
Not really. I think we did a good job. I mean, if we want to fast forward, do you guys have any favorites for the finals?
So an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference?
Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really thought about the Western Conference too much.
Your favorite teams in the Western Conference, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think they're making finals. I'll be shocked if they. I'll be pleasantly shocked.
Oh, it's Dame.
Yeah, but I've said repeatedly. That their team.
He's not chasing titles. I get it, Nick. Just
No,
pick.
it's
Do you
not
have
about chasing titles.
favorites?
Their team's not constructed. I don't think that team can win with basically having McCollum and Lillard on the team. I don't think.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Because
you know why?
Because they're both similar type players, and McCollum's just not as good.
Because they paid Dame a fuck ton of money. Because, like you said, he has no interest in chasing a championship. So he'll just settle for the cash and maybe an album. You know? Listen, you either got a favorite or you don't. Who is it?
I think the Nets are going to win.
Okay.
If I had money to put on it, I put on the Nets.
And the Western Conference team?
I'll probably go the Jazz. I'm not going out on a limb here. But
I got the Lakers and the Nets in the finals, bro.
Wow. Are they winning tonight?
What's the score, bro? You got the game on. I have
I know
not
it's a
checked.
commercial. I haven't checked either. I'm going to go.
They're up by 4. 83-79.
Okay.
I'm going to go Clippers and 76ers.
Sixers. Okay.
Anything else, John?
No.
Remember how the it used to be, it just totally shifted. All the good teams used to be from the West, and there was only like 1 or 2 good teams from the East. It's completely different now. All the good teams are in the East.
Yeah, it happened in like 1 year.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Nick, what are your final thoughts?
That's pretty much it. I'm good. I've said all I had to say.
Sounds good. I want to give a shout out to a place called Turner's, downtown Columbus. It's Turner's barber shop and beard salon. And I went down there yesterday. I had made an appointment. I got there at 9:00 for my appointment. And the guy called my name, trimmed my beard up real nice for me. And I sit down. It was 9 a.m. I sit down in the chair. And the first question the guy asks me, "Can I get you a beer?" I said, "No, just a trim on my beard would be fine." He goes, "All right, man. Yeah. How about a shot?" No, you guys fucking alcoholics here? What's going on? But I thought it was pretty cool. It was a cool place. Some good guys working down there, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them. So thanks for the trim up, and that's all I got. Besides that, cheers. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. We appreciate our listeners, and we'll see you next time on the Locker Room Rant.
See you guys later.
Later.